for you to ask us anything. And right, first up, it's a question from James Russell, who says, with Grade 1, Grade 2 races across Haydock and Ascot, why do you think only 12 horses have been declared for these races, and do you feel disappointed by this? And following on from that, Ryan says, there's a Grade 1 with 5 runners and 2 Grade 2s with 3 and 4 runners. I think this is poor for the quality of races, and I think trainers don't want to run their best horses against each other until Cheltenham. Adele, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's one thing, because if it was one thing, we'd change it. So it's a factor of things. I think that when you get to a higher level, there's just not as many, like in any sport, there's not as many around, at that level. I think that we have a lot of racing now as well. And I think that, trainers, they're going to go for a race that, they want to go for, ground wise. I think, a lot of the time with some of the races, are you going to bottom your horse so early on in the season and then, see him then bottom for the rest of the year? I think it's a factor of a few things. It's disappointing from a betting point of view.
The message from the emailer, texter, whatever it was, is correct. I mean, everything that's factually in that is correct. Obviously, if you're a trainer, you're not going to want your horse to be tackling all the best horses in what are effectively prep races. So that's all correct. This is nothing new, we should hasten to add. Like, if you go back into the 80s, 90s, the Badsworth boys, the Wayward lads, they weren't taking on 20 runners in graded races. Always this has been the case, for exactly the reason Adele said, that the horse population at that level is a very small one. I think the way you change it slightly is there clearly are too many graded races. We've had this conversation before. There clearly are. And actually in Ireland, even more is the case. A ridiculous number of graded races. But they're still going to pick and choose. I don't know what you thought, Richard. I know it was televised and Newbury went crazy, so they're going to get upset with me here. And we're at Newbury next week, so it's perhaps not a great time to do it. But anyway, this sort of celebration of gallops. I mean, on the one hand, it's great that people see top horses galloping, but on the other hand, there are races to run in. And if you start making gallops into some sort of celebration on TV, for me, you're going down the wrong route, because what you want for all those horses is them to be in races.
Those horses might not even run in the races, so at least people get to see them.
Yeah, I don't take.
Should be right.
I don't take that. I don't
take that. Need a race. If you're having a racecourse gallop, you can run in a race, is my opinion.
Well, I think if you saw some of the horses that galloped at Newbury, you would have learnt that absolutely wasn't the case. Santini would never have run in the Betfair Chase based on how he looked on Tuesday. You saw them even closer hand to me. Yeah. There's a limited amount you can get out of gallops because you don't know who's carrying what weight, etc. But I don't think they're bypassing them races for gallops. I do think the latter point, that too much is made of the Cheltenham Festival within National Hunt Racing. Yeah. I think, I think I meant to look it up. Definitely Red, I think. Didn't he get brought down having missed the Cotswold Chase, which he won? It's so competitive. I think if I was an owner, I'd be looking to try and get more out of the,
OK, I just wanted to ask you on that, Altior heading for the Tingle Creek. I've got a tweet from Tom Lloyd who says, is Altior now a banker for the Tingle Creek following his recent gallop at Newbury and the fact that Deffy disappointed at Cheltenham?
Well, Fulmox are Sandown because they've made this an early closing race, so we can actually show you a market to support this, which they haven't been able to do in the past because the entries weren't out by this stage. This raises the profile of the race, and it also shows, if you like, the market as to whether he's a banker. And at 2-1, is that... he was 2-1 in the weight, he's 6-4 on that caption there. Deffy de Soy's absence, almost certain absence, is definitely a help. But he's by no means unbeatable, is he?
For me, Altior is exactly what Lorena is today.
All or nothing.
On all form, he's a certainty, and there's much less evidence that Altior has disappeared compared to Lorena.
Yeah. He had a proper workout, and he's always had a proper workout on that day. He worked with Epatante, which was a...
I think, to answer the question, yes, I think Altior will win the Tingle
that's a great price, 6-4, for one of the best horses we've seen in recent times.